Dating can be such an emotional roller coaster. You tell yourself you finally met the one, or you won't make the same mistakes as last time. And most of the time, this ends in disappointment, and your feelings are just along for the ride. Here are 4 ways to protect your mental health during and after the early stages. Stick around, this is Real Life Psych. Welcome back to my channel, Real Life Psych, where we break down common, everyday situations that have a significant influence on our mental and physical health, whether we realize it or not. New episodes come out every Sunday for what I like to call not so scary Sundays. So when you're sleeping in or still looking for excuses to get out of yet another brunch, this is our opportunity to process daily thoughts from a psychological standpoint so that we can better take on the challenges of our upcoming week. So I'm sure we're all aware of the mental toll bad relationships and marriages can have on someone's life. In 2020, it's becoming more and more common for couples to seek counseling for help in navigating their relationship. But what about the people who can't ever seem to get past the dating stage, or what millennials call the talking stage? Let me see if this sounds familiar. You're talking to a new person, everything's going great. It's the early stage, so the both of you are overdoing the faking interest in each other phase. You know, the extra cool and adventurous version of yourself. You're watching football together on Sundays. Your partner's going to yoga with you. Butterflies are in the air. Everything's running smoothly. And then one day, they just suddenly start acting differently. Out of nowhere, they text back less frequently, start becoming distant, maybe even flake out on you. But here's the worst part. It's only the talking stage. You're not their girlfriend or boyfriend officially, so you're hesitant to call them out on this new behavior, to not come off as overbearing. And no matter what you do, the talking stage dwindles and you're left on a scary Sunday to pick up the pieces. Let's take a psychological approach on why the new dating stage can actually be such an emotional roller coaster. According to a research study in 2020, 67% of daters say their dating life is not going well, and 75% of daters say they found it very difficult to find people to date within the past year. And I'm sure a pandemic hasn't made it any easier. Here are 4 helpful tips to protect your mental health during the talking stages. Number 1, recognize your love schema and then separate that from the person you're actually talking to. A schema is your lens of how you see the world. A love schema is an internal working model of what love looks and feels like to a person. Just like people grow up dreaming of what their wedding will be, they dream of one day tailgating an Ole Miss game together or wearing matching Jordans with their partner without focusing as much on who the actual person is. Hear me out. The need to fulfill this dating aesthetic may actually distract you from the red flags that are standing right in front of you. The red flags start to look a little orange when the person you're talking to fits the aesthetic of the person you've always wanted to be with. Remember, they are just as much the red flags as they are the things you like about them. Number 2, avoid comparisons. Similarly to getting out of a long-term relationship, an inability to start and sustain a relationship can make someone question their self-worth. They wonder if they're even dateable, perpetuating a possible inferiority complex, which with that comes with low self-esteem and often blaming yourself for the negative outcomes from others. Everyday Health has a great article on inferiority complexes, and in it, it helps explain that it's people with low self-esteems that tend to compare themselves more with others, and when they do, it's only to the most successful people, which unfortunately exacerbates this complex. Then comes the internalization, because you tend to focus on your inability to find someone ideal versus the fact that it just hasn't happened yet. Remember, just because people look like relationship goals in a picture, it's just a picture, and there's more benefit in focusing on yourself than comparing yourself to others. Number 3, leave ghosts alone. Rejection is already hard to deal with, but nothing hurts like rejection without any communication, especially from someone you were creating a bond with. Remember, it says a lot about someone if they're not willing or able to communicate when something went wrong. People who ghost tend to focus on avoiding their own emotional discomfort, and they aren't necessarily as concerned about how it makes the other person feel. Constantly reaching out or wondering if they will reach out usually leads to more disappointment. Number 4, acknowledge burnout. Dating can be addictive, especially on apps. Match.com released a survey showing that 1 in 6 singles reported feeling addicted to the online process of looking for a date, while millennials were 125% more likely to say they feel addicted. Unfortunately, people who have self-described as having addictive style behavior towards the internet and cell phones scored much higher on depression and anxiety scales. In fact, a study posted by CNN in 2018 polled 1,300 college-age students and found that men and women using online dating apps were more likely to have lower self-esteem than those who don't. So, all the swiping, as addictive as it is, may inadvertently lead to a lot of rejection, anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. If you start to notice that these emotional tolls start to creep in your day-to-day life, like it's harder to get out of bed, you're unmotivated to stick to your diet, etc., it might be time to simply take a break. It's obvious that the decisions and behaviors of others should not affect your values and self-worth. But unfortunately, they often do. Remember, 2 out of every 3 people say their dating life is not going well. I think it's important to understand that you're not alone, because nothing about dating is easy. Anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, they're unfortunately all side effects of dating. And it's important to be at least aware of this and take care of ourselves. Again, recognize your love schema, avoid comparisons, leave ghosts alone, and just acknowledge burnout. Understanding the pitfalls that come with dating and the emotions that are evoked help us to recognize how to navigate through this and protect our mental health. Thanks for watching Real Life Psych on another not so scary Sunday. For your weekly pep talk and therapeutic breakdown of everyday struggles, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that maybe next Sunday doesn't have to be so scary. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment below, maybe even talk about your cringiest dating experience, so that if you have any suggestions or questions, we can tackle them in the following videos. Remember, self-improvement begins with self-awareness. See you next Sunday.